Some experts put the decline in the production of cardboard boxes and the demand for them among the factors indicating the collapse of the U.S. economy. In their opinion, many people underestimate the role of this product because it makes up a large part of consumer spending, and it can also be used to assess the state of the economy. There hasn't been a drop in America's cardboard box shipments like this since the 2009 recession. This happens when inflation rises, interest rates that affect the behavior of American consumers, causing retail sales to fail. Right now, about 20% of cardboard box manufacturing has stopped operations. Experts say the volume of such packaging being made is an important indicator of the state of a state's economy, even though it is not counted as often as, for example, the size of GDP. But sometimes it is such little used factors that show the real picture best. Still, it is impossible to say that cardboard boxes signal an imminent recession in the US. Also, you should not draw conclusions from stock exchange data. You should take into account real economic indicators. After all, stock market data is very dependent on news, Fed decisions, etc. The stock market, especially the American one, has not been providing information corresponding to the real state of affairs in the economy for a long time. The current situation in America cannot be called good. Last year, the GDP of this country turned negative, and for several quarters in a row. This is already indicative of a technical recession. Of course, Washington categorically does not want to recognize this. However, its position does not cancel the existing problems. In addition to GDP, for a real assessment of the economy, we need to take into account such an indicator as the index of business activity of production. It also fell 2 times in a row last year. This indicates that the volume of industry has decreased. The poor state of the state economy is also demonstrated by problems in the real estate sector. Home sales sagged badly that year, with declines seen throughout the year, and this is due to the fact that interest rates and property values have risen. Americans' demand for cars also fell. Although cars, especially used ones, have always been available to the population, as well as petrol prices, and now there is a dip in this area as well, because fuel rates have risen dramatically $1 to $5. Because of this, domestic consumption of petrol has decreased. This is also an indication of economic problems. As for inflation, it is now declining in America. In 2022, it reached a peak that the country has not seen for 40 years, 9.1%. Now the rate is gradually coming back to normal. Just because of this, lending rates are going up, and the regulator is not going to restrain them. This again speaks about the slowdown in economic development. According to experts, in the near future, the American economy will be in a state of stagnation. Growth is possible within 0.5%, or there could be a mild recession. Inflation will continue to come to normal, reaching 3 to 5% by the end of the year. The Fed will raise interest rates to around 5%, but nothing major is imminent. We are not talking about a repeat of the Great Depression and a stock market crash. The maximum that can happen is something like the crisis of 2008-2009, and that's only if we let things run their course, or if there are some negative events that cannot be dealt with. Journalists exaggerate too much. The time for a recession of the American economy has not yet come, but it cannot be ruled out that it will still happen in the future. Specialists give such a forecast for the end of the current decade.